Central Asia is one of the world's regions that are most vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Even today, the increasing temperatures, glaciers melting, and water resources shrinking. Over the last 3 years, a project titled Climate Adaptation and Mitigation Program for Aral Sea Basin has been helping residents of the region to reduce environmental risks. For the Baboyev family, the cultivation of grapes, apples, and vegetables is the main source of income. All family members work on the land plot. The most important thing is the harvest. It grows rapidly. I want it to stay that way. A year ago, one couldn't even dream of high yields. The Baboyev's Dehkan farm is in Sukt region of Tajikistan. For local farmers, water shortages in summer is a common thing. We used to depend heavily on rainfall. There were rains. There was water as well. If not, then most of the harvest would die. It used to be that we would only water our fields and vineyards once in the entire season. Thousands of farmers in Tajikistan experience difficulties with irrigation. The concessional loan that the Baboyev family received under the Camp for ASB project allowed digging a well 190 meters deep. This helped secure water for both their fields and those of their neighboring farmers. We plan on building our own reservoir and using drip irrigation to save water.
In the national components of that project, there are credits, there are credit lines that are established that allow companies, individuals to invest in activities, but as well help them adapt to climate change. So, for example, a farmer who will invest in a technology that protects his crop from a flood, or invest in a greenhouse that will reduce his use of water. He will be much less susceptible, vulnerable to weather-related events.
На небольших расстояниях мы имеем очень большие разности температур.
During special training sessions, Hussein and other farmers learned how to use climate investments correctly and save natural resources while doing so. In Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, the project covered about 7,000 people. We help farmers adapt to climate change. This knowledge helps peasants, especially in remote regions, to use water and energy resources wisely, to create greenhouses and shelter structures while increasing yields. Sherali Karimov plans to harvest 100 tons of tomatoes per year. His new greenhouse farm is in Bukhara region, Uzbekistan. We built a greenhouse on an area of 1 hectare with the money we received. We planted tomatoes. Here, we have Korean technology, a drip irrigation system. Now we're producing more crops with less water. In the past, water scarcity was holding back good crop growth. Today the problem has been solved. Greenhouses protect plants from the scorching sun. Drip irrigation saves water. A 10-year loan with a 3-year grace period was granted. In total, we have financed 15 projects in Bukhara region under the program to use the wasteland with low ecological productivity to create greenhouses and get high harvest here. Over 9,000 sub-loans have been extended in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan under the project. The total amount of financing is over 18 million. This is a modern equipment for building greenhouses, purchase of equipment for processing of agricultural products, equipment for storage and processing of agricultural products, purchase of breeding livestock and development of poultry farms. Preferential loans have helped hundreds of families start and expand their businesses. More than 18,000 people in Tajikistan have got jobs, 60% of them being women.
Agriculture in this part of the world depends heavily on irrigation because it's so dry. Reduce a lot its consumption of water and still be able to produce as much food. You don't need the traditional large-scale open irrigation to produce vegetables. You can switch to drip irrigation, which is much more efficient.
Under the project, between 2018 and 2019, about 100 specialists from national meteorological agencies took part in a series of trainings, acquired new skills and improved the quality of forecasts. We have implemented the ModSnow tool across all Central Asian meteorological centers. With the help of this tool, one can monitor snow cover in real time using satellite data. This is the final product of the ModSnow tool. It shows us snow coverage. According to this data, we can get an idea of snow density, snow height, which enables us to make better and accurate meteorological forecasts. It can be hard to ride the whirlwind, but you can brace yourself for it. New forecasting tools are already delivering good results. I want to say that it has had its effect. This year we have already been able to predict inflows on the Zhabai River and prevent flooding and minimize damage on other rivers like Uluton. Atbasar, a town in northern Kazakhstan, is hit by spring flooding every year. Previously it was difficult to prepare for it. In just a few hours the water could rise by several meters. In 2017, the Zhabai River demolished dozens of houses along the riverbed. Almost 1,000 people were evacuated. From now on, hydrologists in Central Asian countries will be able to give more accurate forecasts on the arrival of floods. That means less damage and losses from natural disasters.
Our training was focused on access to climate information and hydrological simulation, which is more complex than some simple statistical models that are still being used for short-term forecasts.
The Camp 4 ASB project has been in operation for over 3 years. During this time, dialogue on climate change has been established at the national, regional and international levels. Climate change has significantly increased the need to adopt a transboundary approach to managing climate risks common to the countries of the region. A climate-weighted decision-making system requires cooperation and dialogue not only between ministries and agencies, academic and civil communities, but also between business circles and the media. CAREC, within its mandate, is called upon to promote environmentally sustainable solutions, build capacity and communicate, disseminate information, and engage stakeholders. The project hosts the annual Central Asian Conference on Climate Change. In 2019, the event brought together almost 400 representatives of government agencies, scientific communities, international and regional partners, as well as representatives of civil society from Central Asian countries. What is good about the platform is that it helps countries learn best practices adopted by other countries as project proposals. We can see how the experience gained in one country can be applied in another one. It is on such platforms that new ideas and proposals are born on how to capitalize on those positive experiences. The project helps develop training courses on climate and marine environment prediction and keep them up to date in colleges and universities in the region.
I have updated my course, Hydrological Forecasts. This course is for third-year hydrology students, and after the update, the course now includes hydrological modeling and practical classes on the model of melt flow. They really do graduate with knowledge and skills.
Annual trainings Climate Change a Topical Issue for the Media are held under the project. Almost 200 representatives of various media from Central Asian countries have already been trained. In 2019, a dialogue platform was launched for representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and parliamentarians of Central Asian countries to discuss the most pressing issues on climate change in the region. In 2019, a meeting was held between representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and parliamentarians and delegation of the IPCC.
Climate change, environmental impacts primarily affect public health. Cardiovascular diseases, iron deficiency diseases, iodine deficiency diseases are on the rise.
The event can provide additional impetus for Central Asian climate change research and its inclusion in new IPCC reports.
Creation of new dialogue platform, such as the Foreign Ministry Parliamentarians Platform. This platform is designed for decision makers on climate change issues, as well as for the non-governmental sector in the Central Asian region to join forces. One of the significant outcomes of this year's project is the visit of an intergovernmental group of experts on climate change, who visited the Central Asian region for the first time. As a result of this visit, a foundation was laid for establishing close cooperation with the scientific community of these Central Asian countries and international community.
Rising temperatures, glacier melt, droughts and floods. Together, it is causing enormous economic damage to Central Asian countries. The Climate Adaptation and Mitigation Program for Aral Sea Basin calls on all parties involved to address the problem together.
The first task is to improve access to information services on climate change, to climate change knowledge, and create an expert community. The second objective is to raise climate investments and build the capacity of climate change specialists and experts.
Over the 3 years since the project was launched, thousands of different people have come together to address climate change issues, from simple farmers to decision makers. They are using common platforms to discuss regulatory opportunities, science-based approaches, and best international practices of nature conservation. Meanwhile, climate investment is already helping hundreds of families in Central Asia. Since its inception, CAMP4ASB has gained momentum and will continue to support those involved in climate change issues in the region.